quality of your life right now, every aspect of it, is a direct reflection of your habits. Not your intentions, not your knowledge, not your potential, your habits. That bank account balance, it's the result of your financial habits. That body you're living in, the result of your health habits. Those relationships that either nourish or drain you, the result of your communication and boundary habits. You don't rise to the level of your goals or your dreams or even your abilities. You fall to the level of your systems. And your systems are automatic. Unconscious routines that govern 95% of your behavior are either building your future or sabotaging it. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a day and drastically underestimate what they can accomplish in a year of consistent focused habits. They want the transformation without the discomfort. They want the growth without the growing pains. They want the result without the process. But life doesn't work that way. There are no shortcuts to any place worth going. The most successful people aren't necessarily the most talented, the most intelligent, or the most privileged. They're the ones who have aligned their daily habits with their deepest values and their highest aspirations. They understand something that most people don't. Your habits are defining your destiny, whether you recognize it or not. The alarm clock rings. You reach over, hit snooze, 5 more minutes. The alarm rings again. You hit snooze again. Eventually, you drag yourself out of bed, already running late. You rush through your morning routine. Grab something unhealthy for breakfast because it's quick, and hurry out the door. As you sit in traffic, stressed and anxious, you wonder why your life feels like a constant race against time. Why do you feel stuck? Why does nothing ever change? You are not living, you are surviving. And the difference between living and surviving is your habits. Right now, in this very moment, I want you to understand something that will transform your life forever. Your future is being created by what you do today, not tomorrow. Your life right now, every aspect of it, is the sum total of your habits. Your financial situation, the result of your habits, your health, your habits, your relationships, your happiness, your purpose, all of them shaped by the small decisions you make every single day. Look at the person next to you. Go ahead. Look at them. That person is sitting exactly where they are because of their habits. Now look at yourself. You are sitting exactly where you are because of your habits. The quality of your life is determined not by what you intend to do, not by what you plan to do, not by what you hope to do, but by what you habitually do. Let that sink in. The most dangerous prison is the one you don't even realize you're in. And most of us are trapped in prisons of habit that we built ourselves, brick by brick, day by day, without even realizing it. What if I told you that 95% of what you did today, you also did yesterday, and 95% of what you'll do tomorrow, you've already done today. We are creatures of habit, moving through life on autopilot, repeating the same patterns over and over again, expecting different results. But that is the very definition of insanity. Here's the painful truth. Most people don't decide their future. They decide their habits. And their habits decide their future. A habit is something you do so often that it becomes automatic. It's a behavior that starts as a choice but becomes a nearly unconscious pattern. And these patterns shape your body, your mind, your relationships, your career, and your outcomes. Think about the habits that govern your life right now. How do you spend the first hour after waking up? What do you habitually put into your body? How do you speak to yourself in moments of challenge? What do you do with your time when no one is watching? These questions matter because your habits are shaping your destiny. When was the last time you truly examined your habits? When was the last time you asked yourself, is what I'm doing repeatedly taking me closer to my purpose or further away from it? I'm not asking you these questions to make you feel guilty. I'm asking because awareness is the first step toward transformation. You cannot change what you do not acknowledge. Let me share something profound with you. There's a law in the universe that cannot be broken. The law of sowing and reaping. Whatever you plant consistently, you will harvest eventually. Your habits are seeds. Some of you are planting seeds of discipline, focus, love, generosity, and courage. And your harvest will reflect that. But some of you are planting seeds of distraction, laziness, bitterness, selfishness, fear. And your harvest will reflect that too. The problem is that there's a gap between sowing and reaping. You don't plant a seed and get a harvest the next day. And in that gap, many people lose faith in the process. They plant seeds of health by exercising once, don't see immediate results, and give up. They plant seeds of knowledge by reading once, don't feel smarter right away, and stop. They don't understand the power of consistency. Small habits don't seem to matter until you realize that your life is the sum of your habits. Success is not a grand, one-time event. It's the accumulation of small habits practiced day after day. Excellence is not an act but a habit. You are what you repeatedly do. Consider this: if you improve by just 1% each day, after a year, you'll be 37 times better. Not 365% better, but 3,700% better. Because success compounds. But this works in reverse too. If you get 1% worse each day, after a year, you'll have declined nearly to zero. Your habits are quietly shaping your destiny. One day at a time. There was a young man who wanted to change his life. He was overweight, in debt, stuck in a job he hated, and his relationships were falling apart. He felt trapped, just like many of you might feel right now. But instead of trying to transform his entire life overnight, he started with one tiny habit. He decided to make his bed each morning. That's it. Just one small act of discipline. Making his bed didn't drastically change his circumstances, but it changed something more important: his identity. Each day, that simple act reminded him that he was the kind of person who follows through. The kind of person who does what they say they're going to do. The kind of person who cares about the details. And slowly, that identity expanded into other areas. He started eating better. He began saving money. He invested time in his relationships. He pursued work that mattered to him. 5 years later, his life was unrecognizable, not because he made one big change, but because he understood the power of habits. What about you? What habits are shaping your life right now? Are they creating the future you desire? Or are they ensuring you remain exactly where you are? Here's a startling reality. Most people overestimate what they can achieve in a day and underestimate what they can achieve in a year. They get impatient, looking for shortcuts and quick fixes. But transformation doesn't work that way. Real, lasting change happens gradually, almost imperceptibly, until one day you look back and realize just how far you've come. Some of you are frustrated because you've tried to change before and failed. You've made New Year's resolutions that didn't last until February. You've started diet after diet, only to revert to old patterns. You've promised yourself that this time will be different, only to be disappointed again. But here's what you need to understand. You didn't fail because change is impossible. You failed because you didn't understand the anatomy of habits. You tried to change too much too quickly. You relied on motivation rather than systems. You focused on the outcomes rather than the identity you wanted to become. Your habits shape your identity, and your identity shapes your habits. It's a two-way street. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. When you choose to go for a run, you're voting for being the type of person who prioritizes health. When you save money, you're voting for being financially responsible. When you practice patience with a loved one, you're voting for being someone who values relationships. These votes might seem insignificant in the moment. What difference does one workout make? What difference does saving a small amount once make? What difference does being patient in one interaction make? But over time, the evidence accumulates, and your identity begins to change. And as your identity changes, sustaining those habits becomes easier because you're simply acting in alignment with who you believe yourself to be. This is why so many habit change attempts fail. People try to change their behaviors without changing their underlying beliefs about themselves. They try to become something different without actually believing they can be different. The question you should be asking is not just what habits do I want to have, but who do I want to become? Because once you know who you want to become, you'll know what to do. Your habits should be aligned with the person you wish to be. Some of you need to break the habit of settling for less than what you're capable of. Some of you need to break the habit of putting everyone else's needs before your own. Some of you need to break the habit of procrastination. Some of you need to break the habit of negative self-talk. And the way to break these habits is not through sheer willpower. Willpower is like a muscle. It gets tired. The secret is to design your environment to make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. If you want to eat healthier, don't rely on willpower to resist junk food. Remove it from your home. If you want to spend less time on social media, don't count on willpower to stop you from checking your phone. Use technology to block distracting apps during certain hours. If you want to exercise in the morning, don't count on willpower to get you out of bed. Put your workout clothes beside your bed and arrange to meet a friend at the gym. Your environment often matters more than your motivation. Motivation is fickle and fleeting. But if you design your environment correctly, you won't need motivation. The right behaviors will become the path of least resistance. This is part one of a 5-part message that will transform how you think about your habits and your future. In the next part, we'll explore the specific framework for building habits that stick and breaking habits that sabotage your potential. We'll discuss how to make good habits attractive and bad habits unattractive. We'll examine how your identity shapes your habits and how to leverage this connection to create lasting change. But before we move on, I want you to reflect on this. What is one habit in your life right now that is stealing your future? Just one. And what is one habit that, if implemented consistently, would transform your destiny? Get clear on these answers. Because awareness is where transformation begins. Remember, your habits are defining your life, whether you realize it or not. It's time to take control of them before they take control of you. Your future is being written today, one habit at a time. The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. Think about that for a moment. Most destructive habits don't announce themselves. They don't arrive in your life with sirens and flashing lights. They slip in quietly, disguised as small, seemingly inconsequential choices. One late night at work becomes 2, becomes 3, becomes a lifestyle that destroys your health and relationships. One small lie becomes another, becomes a pattern of dishonesty that erodes trust. One day of procrastination becomes a lifetime of unfulfilled potential. By the time most people realize they're trapped by their habits, the chains have become impossibly heavy. But it doesn't have to be this way for you. Let me share with you the 4 laws of behavior change, the framework that will allow you to take control of your habits rather than having your habits control you. The first law is make it obvious. Most of our habits operate below our conscious awareness. We don't think about them, we just do them automatically. To change a habit, you must first bring it into your awareness. I want you to try something for the next week. Carry a small notebook with you. Each time you engage in the habit you want to change, write it down. Don't try to change anything yet, just observe and record. Note what time it happened, where you were, what you were doing right before, and how you felt. This simple exercise will reveal patterns you never noticed before. Perhaps you reach for unhealthy snacks when you're bored, not hungry. Perhaps you check social media when you feel socially anxious. Perhaps you procrastinate when tasks feel overwhelming. Awareness is the precursor to change. You cannot change what you do not first acknowledge. The second law is make it attractive. We are drawn to habits that give us some form of immediate gratification. This is why bad habits are so sticky. They often provide instant pleasure, even as they rob us of long-term happiness. To build good habits, you must find ways to make them attractive. One powerful way is through habit stacking, pairing something you want to do with something you need to do. For example, after I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. After I take off my work shoes, I will do 10 push-ups. Another approach is to join a culture where your desired habit is the normal behavior. If you want to exercise regularly, join a running club. If you want to eat healthier, spend time with people who prioritize nutrition. If you want to grow spiritually, surround yourself with people on the same journey. Human beings are herd animals. We imitate the habits of those around us. So choose your herd wisely. The third law is make it easy. Humans are naturally drawn to the path of least resistance. We will almost always gravitate toward the option that requires the least amount of effort. To build good habits, reduce friction. Want to exercise in the morning, sleep in your workout clothes. Want to eat healthier, pre-cut vegetables and keep them at eye level in your refrigerator. Want to read more, keep a book beside your bed and remove the TV from your bedroom. To break bad habits, increase friction. Want to watch less television, unplug the TV after each use and put the remote in a drawer in another room. Want to spend less time on your phone, delete social media apps so you have to use the less convenient browser version. The key insight here is that designing your environment is more important than trying to motivate yourself. Motivation is fleeting, environment is persistent. The fourth law is make it satisfying. We are more likely to repeat behaviors that are immediately rewarding. Unfortunately, many good habits pay off in the long run but feel difficult in the present. While many bad habits feel good in the present but cost us in the long run. To build habits that last, you must find ways to feel immediately successful. One approach is to track your progress. Each time you exercise, mark an X on a calendar. Each day you don't eat sugar. Add a link to a paper chain. Each time you save money, watch your bank balance grow in an app. These small celebrations create a sense of immediate progress that helps sustain motivation until the long-term rewards become apparent. Remember, success is not an event. It's a process. And that process is built day by day through your habits. Now, I want to address something important. Many of you are thinking, I understand the power of habits, but I've tried to change before and failed. What makes this time different? Here's what you must grasp. Habit formation is not about achieving perfection. It's about establishing systems. It's not about never missing a day. It's about never missing twice in a row. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. If you miss a workout, that doesn't mean your fitness habit is broken. If you eat unhealthy food once, that doesn't mean your nutrition habit is broken. If you skip reading one day, that doesn't mean your learning habit is broken. What matters is that you return to the habit as quickly as possible. Most people make the mistake of believing that successful people have more discipline or motivation. But the truth is, successful people have just figured out how to structure their lives so they don't need as much discipline or motivation. They've created environments where good habits are easier than bad ones. Think of it this way: every morning you brush your teeth, you don't debate whether you feel like doing it. You don't need motivation to do it. You just do it because it's part of your identity. That's what we want to create with all your positive habits. A sense that this is simply who you are. Not something you do occasionally when motivation strikes. Your habits shape your identity, and your identity shapes your future. If you see yourself as someone who exercises regularly, you'll exercise regularly. If you see yourself as someone who keeps their word, you'll keep your word. If you see yourself as someone who completes what they start, you'll complete what you start. Every time you follow through on a habit, you're casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. And eventually, the evidence becomes so overwhelming that you can't help but believe it yourself. This is how lasting transformation happens, not through overnight success stories, but through the gradual accumulation of small, persistent actions that reshape who you believe yourself to be. As we close this second segment, I want you to ask yourself, what identity do I want to have? Who do I want to become? And what habits would that type of person have? Answer these questions honestly, and you'll have a roadmap for transformation. Every morning in Africa, a gazelle wakes up. It knows it must outrun the fastest lion or it will be killed. Every morning a lion wakes up. It knows it must outrun the slowest gazelle or it will starve to death. It doesn't matter whether you are a lion or a gazelle. When the sun comes up, you'd better be running. Your habits are either moving you forward or holding you back. There is no neutral ground. Let me tell you about the power of small habits and how they create remarkable results. Many of us fall into what I call the someday trap. Someday, I'll start eating healthy. Someday, I'll begin saving money. Someday, I'll pursue my passions. Someday, I'll repair that broken relationship. But someday is a disease that will take your dreams to the grave with you. The truth is, we overestimate what can be accomplished in a day. But we drastically underestimate what can be accomplished in a year of daily, persistent effort. This is why small habits are so powerful. If you improve by just 1% each day, you'll end up 37 times better after a year. This is the magic of compounding. Small improvements accumulate into remarkable results. Consider reading just 10 pages a day. It seems insignificant, but after a year, you'll have read 3.650 pages, approximately 12 books. That's more than most people read in 5 years. And the knowledge from those books will compound throughout your life. Or consider saving just $5 a day. And again, it seems trivial. But after a year, you'll have saved $1.825. After 10 years, with modest investment returns, you could have over $25.000. Small actions. Remarkable results. The problem is that we live in a world obsessed with instant results. We've been conditioned to believe that massive success requires massive action. But the evidence suggests otherwise. The most powerful outcomes are the result of small habits repeated over long periods. This is why most people fail at habit change. They try to do too much too soon. They go from exercising 0 times a week to trying to exercise every day. They go from eating fast food daily to attempting a perfect diet overnight. They set themselves up for failure by ignoring how habits actually form. Habits form based on frequency, not time. It's better to exercise for 5 minutes every day than for 3 hours once a month. It's better to read 2 pages every day than 100 pages once every 2 weeks. Consistency is what encodes a habit into your neural pathways. And here's where most people get it wrong. They focus on the goal rather than the system. They say, I want to lose 30 pounds instead of I want to become the type of person who exercises daily. They say, I want to write a book instead of I want to become the type of person who writes every day. The goal is just the result. But the system is what delivers progress. Fall in love with the system, not the goal. And the results will follow naturally. Your life is essentially the sum of your habits. How in shape or out of shape you are. A result of your habits. How happy or unhappy you are. A result of your habits. How successful or unsuccessful you are. A result of your habits. What you repeatedly do ultimately forms the person you become. The things you believe. And the personality you portray. But here's the problem. Your current habits are perfectly designed to deliver your current results. If you want different results, you need different habits. This means you have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Growth and comfort cannot coexist. The habits that will transform your life won't feel natural at first. They'll feel forced, awkward, and perhaps even painful. That's normal. That's how growth works. Remember, habits are not a finish line to be crossed. They're a lifestyle to be lived. They're not something you do. They're someone you become. As we move forward in our journey together, I want you to identify one keystone habit. A habit that, when changed, creates a ripple effect through your entire life. For some, it's exercise. For others, it's meditation or planning their day. Or for others still, it's practicing gratitude. Whatever it is for you, focus on that one habit first. Master it. Let it become part of your identity. Then move on to the next habit. This is how transformation happens, not all at once, but one habit at a time. Your future is being created right now. With every decision, every action, every habit. The question is, are you creating it intentionally? Or are you allowing it to be created by default? There are moments that define our lives. Moments where we make decisions that set us on entirely new trajectories. This is one of those moments for you. Right now, you stand at a crossroads. In one direction lies the path of least resistance, continuing with the habits that have brought you to where you are today. In the other direction lies the path of transformation, embracing new habits that will take you where you truly want to go. The choice seems obvious, but here's the hard truth: most people will choose the familiar path, even if it leads to mediocrity and unfulfillment. Why? Because change requires confronting three powerful enemies: fear, doubt, and complacency. Fear whispers, what if you fail? What if you look foolish? What if it's too hard? Doubt questions, who are you to want more? Who are you to think you can change? And complacency soothes, you're doing fine. Why rock the boat? Why make yourself uncomfortable? These enemies have kept millions of people trapped in lives far smaller than what they were capable of living. Don't let them trap you. The habit of courage is what you need now, the willingness to act despite fear, to move forward despite doubt, to push despite complacency. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action in the presence of fear. And here's what you must understand: the pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. Yes, changing your habits will be difficult. Yes, there will be days when you don't feel like showing up. Yes, there will be moments when you question whether it's worth it. But I promise you this: the temporary discomfort of building new habits pales in comparison to the permanent regret of living with the consequences of bad ones. Ask anyone in their sunset years what they regret most. They rarely regret the risks they took or the discipline they practiced. They regret the chances they didn't take, the gifts they didn't develop, the relationships they didn't nurture. Don't wait until the end of your life to realize that your habits were shaping a future you didn't want. Have the courage to change them now. And remember, at any moment, you can step into a new story. At any moment, you can say, this is where it changes. At any moment. You can decide that your past habits don't define your future possibilities. That moment is now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Now, your habits will determine your future. Choose them wisely. Your life changes the moment you make a new, congruent, and committed decision. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. As we conclude our time together, I want to leave you with this final truth: you were created for purpose, not for survival. You were designed for greatness, not mediocrity. You were built for impact, not insignificance. Your habits should reflect that truth. They should align with the highest vision you have for your life. So I challenge you, walk out of here today and do something different. Not something monumental, something small, but meaningful. Something that represents the first step toward the person you were created to be. Perhaps it's writing down your goals before you go to sleep tonight. Perhaps it's waking up 30 minutes earlier tomorrow to invest in yourself. Perhaps it's having that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Perhaps it's making that call, signing up for that class, or simply saying no to something that doesn't serve your purpose. Whatever it is, do it. Not because you feel like it, but because you've decided that your future is worth it. And when you do it tomorrow, do it again. And the next day, do it again. And the day after that, do it again. Until it becomes so ingrained in who you are that you couldn't imagine living any other way. That's how lives change. That's how destinies are forged. That's how ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things. Your habits decide your future. Change them now. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Not because it guarantees success, but because not changing guarantees failure. You have everything you need within you. The power to change is already yours. Use it, embrace it, live it. Your future is waiting. And it begins with the next decision you make. Choose wisely.